Perek Shmini Mishnah Aleph. In introduction to this, I know today it's not nahug, this is not the custom of people, but in the old time, people used to spit on all the time. Because they didn't want to keep, there's an idea that it wasn't healthy to have rock in your mouth. People used to spit on it. Even if you go, by the way, it's not just a Jewish thing, if you go to bars in the 40s and the 50s in America, you had a spittoon, it's called. Something that you go and you spit in it. It will be all kind of spits in the thing. It's very common, was all over the world. People used to spit all the time. Now, what's the problem? That in Yerushalayim, what?
Bet HaMikdash, you can spit.
Yeah. There's a lachas about Bet HaMikdash. We're going to learn when we get to it. How do you spit in Bet HaMikdash and all the kinds. Because you see, also when it comes, you will see also in halacha how much it was, it brings down in halacha, how to spit in shul, all kinds of rules for it. Yeah, you will see it. People used to spit all the time. They didn't keep the saliva in the mouth all the time. Okay.
But why didn't they swallow?
Because there was a muda'ut, there was a thing that it was not healthy. So people made sure that always the time. If it's healthy or not, medically I don't know, but that was the idea. Okay, Be'u Mishnah Aleph. Now, we're going to see what's the problem. Kol harukim hanimtzaim b'Yerushalayim tehurim. Every time you find spit on the floor anywhere in Yerushalayim, you can assume that it comes from a pure person. Now, so why would you care? Because people are, if you touched a spit, a liquid that came from a body of somebody who's impure, you became impure. So let's say you know that you walked over a spit, that's right, a spit of somebody, you sit on, and people spit all the time, like I said, in Yerushalayim especially, or everywhere, so you become impure. So it says, don't worry about it. In Yerushalayim, any spit that you've stepped on, you can assume that it's pure. Let's continue. Ve'en chosheshim shema hem shel zav ve'zava. You're not going to assume that they belong to somebody who's a zav or a zava, which their spit is impure. Hametamim adam vekelim. And then what happens? That now you become impure. You need to go to the mikveh now before you go to the temple. Mishum sheolchim achar harov. Because we have the rule. The rule is the majority of the people are pure, then we can assume the majority of the spit is pure. ואף על פי שבמקומות אחרים חששו אף למיעוט וגזרו על ספק רוקין, he says, hey, I can show you that in other places, not Yerushalayim, they says, even if the minority is zavim vezavot, we're going to worry for it. So how come we're not going to worry now in Yerushalayim? Shema hem shel zav vezava, it says, because they belongs to a zav or a zava, mikol makom בירושלים לא גזרו. It says specifically in Yerushalayim, they did not make that decree. Why? שהואיל ואוכלים קדשים בכל העיר. Because people know that in Yerushalayim, people eat the holies in the entire city ground, inside the walls. So everybody knows that you have to keep Yerushalayim pure. Because people, in the Bet HaMikdash for sure, but even outside, because people have to eat it while they're pure. So people were very careful. If they're a zav or zava, we're going to see what he used to do. והיו הזבים נזהרים שלא לטמא את אנשי ירושלים. The zavim weren't like in any other city that used to go around and spit. They used to make sure to spit in the right places. What it means, we'll see soon. חוץ, except, משל שוק העליון. Except when you go to the higher market, there was a market called the higher market, over there you're in trouble. If you touched or spit over there, you know you're in trouble. What's going on over here? שכובסים נוכרים היו מצויים שמה. Because over there in the higher market you had non-Jews who used to wash our clothes. וחכמים גזרו על הנוכרים שיהיו כזבים לכל דבריהם. And the sages made a decree on the non-Jews that they're going to be like a zav. We're going to consider them like a zav. ויש מפרשים שאף זבים ישראלים המתרחקים מבני אדם היו מצויים שמה. And it says it was not only the non-Jews, it was also the zavim וזבות used to go over there. Why they used to go specifically over there? Because they didn't want to metame, they didn't want to make impurify the other people who went to the regular market. So there were two markets.
But the goy cannot metameh.
Yeah, but it is a decree. There is a decree that the goy will be like a zav and zava. Metame like a zav and zava. Yeah. And I think when it says goy lo metame, it's only in ohel. Only in a room. If you touch it, he is metame. The body. Yeah. If you specifically touch, I think it is. But I'm not sure, but when we get to those rules, we learn two men Torah. Divrei Rabbi Meir. This is according to Rabbi Meir. So the Zovim Vezavot says, we're not going to go into the regular market because all the Jews over there will go to the higher market where the Nochrim anyway, the pure people don't go there, we'll go over there, just to make sure. Yeah. So Divrei Rabbi Meir. This is the word of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yossi Omer. Rabbi Yossi says, Bish'ar Yom Hashana. It says, Rabbi Yossi says, look, you have to make a differentiation between the time of the regel and not the time of the regel. It's going to be different rules. Bish'ar Yemot Hashana, in any other day of the year, shelo b'shat haregel, if it's not the time of the holidays, sherov ha'am tamehu, not in the time of the holidays, even the majority of people in Yerushalayim were impure. Because to make yourself pure was a big time. You're not allowed to touch anything, you're not allowed to eat anything, you're not allowed to... It's problematic. You can't go to work. Go to work, you touch somebody, that's it, you're done. You know? Sherov ha'am tamehu. So it says, this is what they used to do. שבאמצע. הרוקים שבאמצע הרחוב טמאים. So it says like this. It's an interesting concept. The streets were done in such a way that the minority would always go to the side and the majority will always walk in the middle. Which means, you would also know that. If it's not in the regel, the majority is impure. If it's not in the regel, so the majority had the middle of the road, and if you were pure, you will go to the outside. In the regel, it will turn around. That's right. That's what he's going to say.
Nice.
Yeah. So Rabbi Yossi says, "Shelo b'shat haregel sherov ha'am tamehu," when the majority of the nation is impure, shebaemtza harukim shebaemtza harechov. Then there's the spit that is in the middle of the street, טמאים, they're impure. Why? לפי שרוב העם ההולכים שם, וביניהם גם זבים וזבות. It says because that's where the majority of the people who walk. And so amongst the majority goes the זבים וזבות also. So they're going to spit over there. ושבצדדים, והרוקים הנמצאים בצידי הדרכים, and the spit that's on the side of the things, טהורים, they're going to become pure. שהטהורים הולכים בצדי הדרכים שלא יטמאו, because the pure, who are the minority, are walking on the sides. ובשעת הרגל, but at the time of the holidays, it goes to pure. שרוב ישראל מתארים עצמם לבוא למקדש, the majority in the ירושלים then are pure, שבאמצע טהורים, then the minority goes to the side. The ones in the middle are pure, והרוקים הנמצאים באמצע דרך טהורים, הם שבצדים טמאים, and the one that's on the sides, they become impure. והרוקים שבצדי הדרכים הם טמאים, שמפני שהם מועטים, because they are the minority then. שהטמאים מועטים הרי הם מסתלקים לצדדים, because the minority goes to the side. Why? Again, שלא יטמאו אותם, they don't want to intermingle with the nation, so they don't impurify them. והטהורים שהם הרוב הולכים באמצע הדרך. And the pure ones that are in the majority walk in the middle of the city. וההלכה כרבי יוסי. And the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, that it depends if it's the regel or not the regel.
Depend on the time.
Depend on the time. Like suicide lane. Depend on the time.
Rush hour.
Yeah, exactly.